Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions Retold. Episode 6, Isshiki and the Love Letter, Act 2. The next day, in room 1-4, Nibutani was furious with the student boys. Remember what I said about the notebook of student girls being lost the last time? Well, it ended up in the hands of Inomata, one of the student girls, and she told Nibutani all about it. That's why she was furious. Nibutani was at the front of the room with Yuta. If the information in this notebook that Inomata found is indeed true, the boys in this class decided to rank the girls according to their so-called hotness, said Nibutani. Isshiki was guilty. Oh man, this is bad, he thought. Did it happen yesterday? Near the bench of the train station? Probably, thought Yuta. But they still have no idea who the owner is. But still! The two boys were somehow communicating through their minds. Now, I would like to question the boys to see what they have to say for themselves, said Nibutani. The struggle was real. She looked around the classroom and her eyes landed on one of the boys and said, So Mira. He stood up anxious. Yes, ma'am? Mira, tell me something. Did you participate in this so-called hotness ranking? Well, I might have, maybe, You might have? No, I did, Yes? I didn't do it! It wasn't me, I swear! Exclaimed Mira. This is bad. This is really bad, thought Isshiki. At this rate, it's just a matter of time before someone rats me out and learns that I'm the one behind this. Then my shot of love will be finished before it's even started. Think! Think, damn it, think! A student girl said to Nibutani, I think you should try to ask Togashi. Huh? Yeah, I bet he knows all about it, said another. Togashi, do you know anything? Asked Nibutani. So you don't know anything. What I mean is, hold on, said Miss Nanase. Isshiki stood up and said, It was me. I did it. I wrote all of it. No one else. I assigned the rankings, too! The class murmured for a moment. Isshiki, said Yuta. Is what you're saying true, Isshiki? Asked Nibutani. Yeah. But please don't misunderstand, he replied, starting to cry. None of the other guys were involved. I acted completely alone. They're all innocent! All the boys gasped. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause any harm. None of the other guys even knew about it. It was all a harmless joke. That's why it's all my fault! Just then, one boy started clapping. Then another, and another. All the boys were applauding Isshiki, and some of them were teared up. That's worth clapping about? Asked the student girl. I know, right? Said another. So you admit being the sole perpetrator, is that right, Isshiki? Asked Nibutani. Yes. And because of my disgraceful actions, I've really hurt the girls in class. So as my penance, I will shave my head in apology! The whole class gasped. Isshiki, you, began Yuta. It's the least I can do, right? It's my duty as a man! But going bald? He's right. You don't need to go that far, said Miss Nanase. I do. I must. Accept my fate like a man, said Isshiki. The boys all began to cry for him. Later, Yuta and Isshiki were in the former's clubroom. So, what'd you think, Togashi? Asked Isshiki. Even though I sacrificed myself, I ended up looking pretty cool, right? Yeah, I guess so, replied Yuta. On top of that, covering the guys and shouldering the blame was super manly. It was. But are you going to be okay without your hair? Huh? You think I'm really going to shave it? No way! I was just bluffing to make them think about what I really said. But it was just that, a bluff. Whatever happened to accepting your punishment as a man? Come on! Do you really think anyone's seriously gonna make me follow through? Yes, we are, said Nibutani. She scared Isshiki by accident. Nibutani, how long have you been there? He asked. For your information, the girls aren't just going to forget about this, replied Nibutani. It'll take more than an apology to smooth things over. Besides, it's your duty as a man, right? My duty? Well, of course. Aren't you the one who suggested it in the first place? No way! You're joking, right? She wasn't, and she was technically correct. Soon, Isshiki was sitting in a chair wearing a robe while Yuta was wearing an apron holding an electric shaver. I'll ask you one more time. Are you sure you really want to do this? Asked Yuta. No, I don't! I definitely don't want to! Replied a teared-up Isshiki. I've suffered through 3 bald-headed years in middle school and I finally have a full head of hair! Why would I want to do this? Swallow your pride and beg on your hands and knees to keep your hair! But I can't! If I do that, I'll be nothing more than a dirty, lying coward! Nibutani's right. If I don't settle this now, every girl in class, including the one who wrote the letter, will look down on me forever. Not to mention I'd lose the respect of all the guys in class. I could never face them as a man again. Not to mention, I started this mess in the first place. This is divine punishment for my sins. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Right, Yuta? Isshiki's eyes and nose were leaking. Just then, Dekamori and Rika came in. You! Deku and Nibutani fought each other while Rika asked, Have you betrayed us to the enemy? No! Replied Yuta. Just hurry up and shave him already! Shouted Nibutani. I'm sorry, but you girls are in the way. Get out! Said Yuta. He kicked the 3 girls out of the club room. This space belongs to the society. You have no rights to— We'll be done soon! Said Yuta, interrupting Rika, and he slammed the door closed. A magic seal blocks the way. What should we do, Master? Asked Dekamori. Let's use our heads, replied Rika. Great idea, Master. Here goes. Mjolnir headbutt! Deku slammed her head against the door. Pow! But she fell on the floor. First, that's not what I had in mind, said Rika. Secondly, my loyal servant Dekamori, are you okay? She's the very definition of stupid, thought Nibutani. Yuta looked out the window as Isshiki was still sitting on a chair wearing a robe. Hey, Yuta, he said. Yes? Thanks for everything. I'm glad I talked to you on the first day of class. On the first day of school, when Yuta took a seat in his classroom, someone poked him from behind. Hey there, he said. Yuta looked back. There was a classmate there. My bad. Think you can lend me some extra pencil lead? He asked. Sure, of course, replied Yuta. What junior high school did you come from? Asked the classmate. Hishiyama Junior High, replied Yuta. Really? Isn't that place really far away from here? Asked the classmate. Yeah, that's why no one from my junior high is here, replied Yuta, giving his classmate some lead. Hey, thanks, said the classmate. I don't really know anyone here either, so it's nice to meet ya. I'm Lady Killer Makoto Isshiki. My name is Yuta Tagashi. I'm glad we met too, Isshiki, said Yuta. You know, my father, he lost his hair at 35, said Isshiki. Going by my genes, I've got about 20 more before my hair disappears forever. I've already lost 3 of those years to baseball in middle school. To think it would come to this again. Everything seems so stupid. He was crying again. Isshiki, said Yuta. He, too, was crying. What are you crying about, Yuta? Asked Isshiki. Nothing. You're my best friend. And no best friend deserves to live a tragic life, sobbed Yuta. That's okay. We all have to face something, am I right? The 2 boys sobbed and hugged each other. And there was a moment of silence Finally, Isshiki was ready. Okay, give me everything you've got! Don't leave a single hair behind! Isshiki! wailed Yuta. His cry got some students' attention outside the building. A saddened Yuta finally got to work. That evening, Kumin went to the club room, but the door was still closed, and Rika, Dekamori, and Nibutani were still there. Hey girls, what are you all doing out here? Asked Kumin. The room's been sealed off, replied Rika. Suddenly, the door opened. Out came Yuta, and he closed the door. Are you finally done? Asked Nibutani. We're done, said Yuta. Done with what? Asked Deko. Done with shaving Ishiki's head, replied Yuta. But he's still recovering from the trauma. He bowed and said, I beg of you, please try your hardest to cheer him up. Whatever, said Nibutani. Understood. I will heal him with my magic, said Rika. Sure thing, Yuta, said Kumin. Yes! exclaimed Deko. But first, and I say this in all seriousness, make sure you do not laugh, said Yuta sternly. The 4 girls nodded a yes, as did I. So Yuta gently opened the door, and there was Makoto Isshiki, bald as an ornament. Dekamori and Nibutani broke the promise and bursted out laughing. Yuta smacked both girls in the heads. Didn't you listen to what I said, you idiots? He shouted. What did you do that for? Shouted Nibutani. At least Rika, Kumin, and I could keep the promise. Isshiki, said Rika. Yeah? He replied. I wish to share my strength with you. Stand in the center of the summoning circle. Isshiki was confused, but he agreed and stood in the center of the circle. O powers of darkness gathered here, by our command, bestow your blessings upon this broken man, said Rika. Dekamori turned on the summoning circle's lights and Ishiki's head glowed blue. You already know what really happened, right? Kumin was amazed while Deko and Nibutani burst out laughing again. Cut it out, you two! Shouted Yuta, but the 2 girls kept on laughing and laughing. And thus, the cute girl ranking incident finally came to a close. And then came the Saturday that started the whole storyline. Isshiki waited beneath the ginkgo tree, holding flowers and had little hope that the girl who wrote the letter would show up. Instead, a horde of student boys showed up. Isshiki was shocked. He ended up receiving the boundless fervent support from all the guys. Later that day, Nibutani was with Isshiki. So, in the end, whoever wrote the letter never showed up, huh? Asked Nibutani. You really don't know who wrote it? Asked Isshiki. Even if I did, it's not like it matters now, right? Guess you're right. In any case, going bald to protect your friends isn't the worst thing that could happen. You know what I mean? Some girls might find it heroic. Really? Are you stupid? Of course not. Nibutani was sarcastic. Are you trying to pick a fight with me? Asked Isshiki. Suddenly, Kumin popped up from behind him and touched his head. She chuckled and said, Sorry, I couldn't help myself when I sort of... Do you mind, Isshiki? Can I touch it, maybe? His whole head turned red. He and Nibutani were surprised. Isshiki agreed and let Kumin touch and rub his head. That night, Yuta was on his balcony eating a lollipop, and summer vacation was almost here. Say, what do you think, Yuta? Asked Mother Togashi from the kitchen. It doesn't look like Dad's going to be able to come back to Japan this year, so what do you think about all of us going to see him in Jakarta instead? I'll think about it, replied Yuta, and Mother Togashi went inside the kitchen. When Yuta looked out into the view, there was Toka. She was squatting on the railing. Yuta was surprised. Yuta, I need you to do me a favor. This summer, I want you and Rika to come. You are needed. Summer came sooner than expected in Yuta's opinion. Toka had invited him to spend summer vacation with her and Rika. I've definitely seen this before. Next time, we're all about to go on a field trip. Trust me,